Last up, we have somebody that I've, again, this has been very personal for me, this whole top 10 talks, working with everybody. And Lorraine's somebody that I worked with early on doing the fish philosophy program that we worked together on. Lorraine's bringing it today. She's one of the most brave people I know and has this story about her challenge working through her speaking in public and her journey with Toastmasters. Lorraine's been at advancement for 19 years. She's a mother of 4, a grandma of 1, and married some guy for 38 years. Okay. She's also a closet guitar strummer for the last 9 years. So I think we might have a band going on next time when we all get together, right? Please welcome the very awesome Lorraine Burton.
Thank you, Mike. Let's see. The human mind is a wonderful thing. From the day you're born, it never stops working until you stand up to deliver a speech. Proof, I know. But I also know I'm not alone, because research shows that 75% of people have a fear of speaking in public. And today I want to share with you just a little bit of my story to overcome this fear and the steps that I took along the way. And really, I hope to inspire you to step out of your comfort zones and face these fears. So first, let's start with the definition of the word fear. So we all know fear is just a normal part of life. It's even necessary and in many times beneficial. And the words that stand out to me here are distressing emotion, impending danger, whether it's real or imagined. But what happens when your fear goes awry? They call that a phobia. So a phobia is a learned behavior, or can be a learned behavior. It can be a product of your brain function, or in my case, it can be caused from a traumatic experience. So the words that stood out to me in this definition were intense, persistent, irrational fear, and many times has physical symptoms that causes you to avoid this behavior at all costs. That was me. But there's actually a medical term for the fear of speaking in public. It's called glossophobia. And this just reminds me, the word even sounds like this, because it reminds me of all the times that I just glossed over, right? and this would be, especially in a meeting, somebody asks you to answer a question and gloss over, sorry, it passed me by. But even I remember a funny time we were in the elevator and Joe Mandernock got on and he says, Lorraine, how was your weekend? I couldn't answer. I got back to my desk and I emailed them and said, hey, I did do something fun this weekend. And I just couldn't, it just didn't come out. So I believe that this fear of speaking in front of people was really a phobia for me and not just a fear. So here I am when I was 12 years old. So these are my 2 sisters and my little baby brother in my sister's arms. And I don't know about you, but if you look closely at this picture, I see some differences between me and my sisters. One is the clothes that we're wearing. To me, my sisters, they're in some stylish clothes. And I'm just in, plain t-shirt and, looks a little baggy. And the second thing that I see when I look at this is the countenance on our face. To me, my sisters, they look confident, and my little sister happy. But me, I just look a little quiet and sad and reserved. So this, I will tell you, I did, thankfully, make it through my teenage years. And even though I was still painfully shy, and if someone were to ask me, how would I define myself, I would have said that I was a quiet observer. but the being a quiet observer actually benefited me because I was able to, just work hard and just focus. And by the time I turned 19, I became store manager. But this phobia did still kind of carry with me and through my adult life. W. Clement Stone said, thinking will not overcome fear, but action will. So the number one action to overcome a phobia is called exposure therapy. So I have an example to show you. I don't know how many of you remember the Bob Newhart show back in the 70s. Okay, I have a few, dating myself, right? And with this, Bob was a psychiatrist, and he was leading a group therapy session for people who had a fear of flying. So they all met in the office, everybody sharing their fears. A little later on, they planned a field trip and went to the airport. And later on, they went to the airport and they got on the plane. And like in this one, and then eventually led to getting on the plane and sitting down and successfully taking a flight. So these baby steps have been proven to be 75% effective in curing phobias. I had my own journey. I guess I realize now, looking back, that my own journey to overcome this fear and phobia also was a series of baby steps. It started years ago when David Christie, my supervisor, first told me about a nonprofit organization called Toastmasters. It was literally 5 years later before I attended my first meeting, but but I did it. and I only did it because he had put it on my talent review to attend a meeting. So I went. And being a good observer, I attended that meeting and I noticed everything. The main thing that I noticed that day were the people sitting around the conference table. There were a couple of UF students, some business owners, managers, trainers. But there was one lady who English was her second language, and she was just learning how to, incorporate that into her life. And there was a widow that just wanted to get out of her house and connect with people. So it was just a variety of people, and I learned a lot from everyone that night. But the main thing was I left there feeling energized and thinking, I think I can do this. So later, I volunteered for some leadership positions in our group, and my first one was a VP of PR. Sounds impressive, right? and then later took on a role as the VPE or VP of Education, and that was lots of fun. It led me to this meeting here in Jacksonville. And this picture I took from the back of the room is only about a third of the room. It actually expands on either side. And that's what I noticed. Golly, there's a lot of people here. And the whole day was just very organized. And I left there thinking, I was just very impressed with the whole organization. Then COVID-19, March 2020, okay? And everything came to a halt. All of our in-person meetings, were no more. And that was, not just here at Advancement, but, all across the globe. But the one fun thing that happened out of that was this online Zoom platform. And I actually now no longer had the boundaries of just Gainesville, and I could step out and go to other meetings. So I actually joined a group that was down in Ocala, but they met every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. But you can still tell we still had a lot of fun. And but then I ran across somebody recently that's also in Toastmasters, Sterling Garcia. It is over in the development in the College of Engineering. And so we've actually shown up on some squares in the same meetings before, and it's really been a lot of fun. Together, we're talking about bringing this here to our UF community, and really want everyone to come and just check it out. See if it's something for you. We do have a guest speaker planned for that day. Her name is Jennifer Webb, and some of you may remember her from speaking either on UF campus or even here at Advancement. And she invited me to attend a workshop, a speaking workshop one day. And I went, and the one thing that just stuck in my mind that day was to stand like a general and stare like you care. And she took us through, physically through an exercise. That's why I had to start all over a minute ago, because I had to. But she taught us how to walk to the front very confidently, plant your feet and, take a breath and look across the room and make that eye contact and then pause. Even before you speak, and she said it didn't matter how long that you paused, that the people would wait for you. So it was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. And she's going to be our main speaker that day. And I think that you'll have a lot to learn from her. So you might be thinking, yes, yay, Lorraine, good for you. You're doing Toastmasters. I don't want anything to do with that. Or, how will this benefit me? So I'd like to share with you a few things that I think you will benefit from in attending Toastmasters. One is just to socialize with other people. We get together. Whether it's once a week, once a month. It's a 1 hour out of your week that you get to get together with people and have fun, right, Sterling? And two is to improve your presentation skills or hone your skills. You might already be a good speaker, and this is just an opportunity for you to have that platform to get better. The third one is my personal favorite, to gain that confidence that is needed to even stand here before you guys today. So, and lastly, to be empowered to, to empower you to reach your professional or your personal goals. And I do have a quick story to tell about a personal goal that I recently have been able to accomplish and has brought me much joy. So Mike told you I've been a living room guitar player, and my fear was just getting up in front of people, because if I wanted to say something about the song, then I would forget the words. I would forget, where to put my fingers, and so I just avoided it. And here recently, I was asked to come sing. I didn't even flinch. I just went and even spoke, and it was wonderful. And for that, I am very, very grateful. I want to leave with you a closing thought. Zig Ziglar talks about choices. So, we all have fears. We all have these things that, hold us back or that we're afraid to do. But the choice is really yours. So there's two acronyms that I want to leave with you today. The first one is, you can forget everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. So the choice is truly yours. Thank you.